Amy, meet Chad, who's in the middle. It's his partner, Joseph, to his left. And that's his mom, Linda. Chad's in a bind. The activity in the house is so bad, he doesn't think it's safe for anybody. Problem is, Linda here is not so convinced that it's bad enough to leave. Chad's hoping you can either show them how to make the house safe, or if need be, convince Linda to get out. Unless Amy has some questions for you, she'll describe her walk for us.
The first person I saw inside the house was a dead woman who causes a lot of problems here.
She did go on a lot about how much she hates animals because she feels like they're dirty.
She's dirty.
The first thing I see from this woman is her up on the stairwell and her showing me her throwing a cat off of the stairwell.
Oh, hell no.
That's happened twice.
Oh, that. We have a 19-year-old cat that likes to stay up on the banister, but it was like he got knocked off twice to the first floor, and he was okay.
Chad, you saw an apparition of a woman on the staircase, correct?
Right. She was ascending from the first floor landing up and then stopping at my mother's bedroom door.
Yeah. So I went upstairs and I went into the first bedroom.
Okay, so that's Linda's bedroom.
She was showing me her trying to move things, and she messes with the doors.
When I'm asleep, like 2 or 3 in the morning, the door will open and then bang shut.
Chad, why don't you tell her about your door?
One night I was working at my desk and all of a sudden my door went in and out, like banging, 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 bang, and then the door handle was jiggling at the same time it was going in and out. And it was so loud and aggressive that I thought it was Joseph. And so I went up and opened the door real quick and there was nothing.
Interesting. I think that being around her a lot could drain you, just because she's hyper. This anxiousness could make you guys feel that as well.
Yeah, you can sleep all night and then you get up in the morning and you're yawning and you're acting like you're ready to go to bed instead of just getting up.
You just have this overwhelming feeling of complete exhaustion, and then the anxiety like ramps up.
And I say it's the bubble within the bubble because if I'm out, I'm totally fine. I have normal energy. But if I'm at home, you can just get up and feel like you need a nap in 2 hours because you're so exhausted.
This could lead to having high blood pressure, which then could lead to heart issues.
Tell her what happened to Mom.
So in 2012, she ended up having a heart attack. And then 3 heart surgeons said if you wouldn't have brought her in, she would have been gone in 20 minutes.
Is it this dead woman that's causing all these issues?
Yeah.
Any idea who this woman was when she was alive?
My feeling was that she lived here, that she lived in this house at some point. I believe that she was in her late 50s, early 60s when she died. She felt like there were a lot of unusual deaths in the area, and that she felt that the energy here is what may have caused so many odd deaths.
Amy, it sounds to me like you're describing a woman who died in the house. Her name was Mary Smith. She was from Oakland. She moved in with her husband into the house here in 1984, but she wasn't here very long before she got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh.
Now, she refused to stay in the hospital and she died in the home in 1986. Now, she was only 49 when she died, but there's a lot more to this tragic story. Around that time, a lot of people in the neighborhood were dying from cancer.
What?
There also was an unusual, very high number of miscarriages, as well as babies born with birth defects.
Oh.
Turns out toxic chemicals were leaking into the water supply, right here. Matter of fact, here's an article on it. Pollution plagues Silicon Valley.
What the?
Hundreds of your neighbors got together and filed a class action lawsuit against the tech companies who had poisoned the water supply.
Oh my God.
Now, the case dragged on for 5 years and finally ended up with an out-of-court settlement for millions of dollars. Now, we can't prove it, but it makes you wonder if the contaminated water had something to do with Mary's death. Now, I was only able to track down a yearbook photo of her. Obviously, she was much older when she died. I mean, is it possible this is the woman you might have seen?
I had a sketch done of how I saw her.
You guys take a look, and why don't you tell me what you think?
Wow.
I mean, I see that sketch, and then I look at that photo, I can see the resemblance in my police eyes.
Yeah, the older picture looks like the woman that was going up the staircase.
We've got to move her on. I just want to clear out the bubble.
So, how else did the walk go?
Then I go upstairs and encountered two males. What they were showing me was them standing, one at the very base of the bed and one on the side. This is while the living are sleeping. What I was able to see was that both of these men were soldiers overseas and that they had died within the last 20 years, I'm thinking. I would think that these two military men would probably be perceived as shadow people.
Now, Chad, you've seen shadow figures. Tell Amy about the feeling you get from them.
There's some that have that authoritative feeling of just they're standing there and it has that same presence that you would feel of a military person.
Interesting. There's a lot of sadness and pain with these men. When they're around, I think that the living would feel their sadness and despair.
You okay, Joseph?
I know what she's talking about. I feel their distress. I can pick up the energy off of things. And when she said that, it was like she hit the nail on top of the head.
You had mentioned to me a shadow figure in the bedroom?
Yes. At the corner of my bed, I see that there's this shadow entity standing there. And the feeling off of it was negative, like sadness and depression, and I'm gonna attack you.
Did you get attacked in bed? Did you have a
I
heaviness?
did.
Tell me about that.
I was asleep and there's a heaviness on the chest. It's hard to breathe. And then I'm waking up and it's preventing you from moving or saying anything.